Being a nighttime student in cosmetology has its challenges. Definitely with me working like a full-time job and having to go into class all night and be away from my kids has been the biggest struggle. Also, some days I feel overwhelmed with like all the new information that I'm learning because hair was not my main focus. Makeup and skincare were. But I decided to go into cosmetology school to learn everything and to balance everything out. And sometimes I don't know what to feel. I know it's like certain emotions. Some days you feel like you're on top of the world. Other days you feel like you're on the bottom of the world. I do sometimes feel like I struggle with certain things, like especially like braiding is not my strongest point. And certain people have more, hair experience. But I learned that I don't really want to focus on what I can't do. I just want to amplify what I can do. So really coming out my shell more and just embracing the journey and falling in love with the journey. And I feel like some of the emotions about my personal journey to certification is really not being too hard on myself for not knowing, especially with talking with my sister, understanding that she is a cosmetologist and she's been doing hair for years. She really broke it down to me that cosmetology school, you're going to learn so many different avenues of how to do hair in certain styles, but it doesn't mean that you have to master every single thing. Different strokes for different folks, and I don't want to put myself in just one category, but I just know that I just have to fall in love with the journey. Sometimes I try not to get too attached to like falling into like the cliques or the circles. I'm very quiet into myself for a reason because I really just want to take the time to really master what I came here to do, and I don't want to lose focus of my vision. So definitely fall in love with the journey, and that's what I'm doing. But some days it's hard, and it's really tough on you sometimes with like being up all night, and especially if you work a full-time job. But I believe in myself, and I know that everything that I'm doing right now will pay off in the long run.
So I'm a young teacher sneaking in the club. He talking about I'm sneaking in there. that same concert he said he went to give Lil' Kim the thing. I snuck into that same show. I was there. And my students was in line talking about she can't even get in the club. I said, but yeah, I still do hair better than you. Yeah. Right. So that's like, so like when you want something, you want to go 1,000%. I always say I'm one of the best teachers out here. Like, I'm one of the only teachers that's been doing it since the 90s that's still doing it. Mm-hmm. Everybody else fell off. They dropped off. But I'm still doing it, and I'm good. So it's like when it's something that you want to do, you got to keep reinventing yourself. And be around people that's really doing this. Mm-hmm. Like some people, I got friends that do hair, but that's all they do. But then I got friends that do hair, they do shows. I got students that's going crazy after I taught them. Her stylist, I was pushing her, tell her, I almost broke her. She was like, I'm sick of Miss Wood. But every time I push her to where she's uncomfortable, she
every
go
hair show
crazy.
She one of them people that's she's too humble, whereas though she don't give herself enough credit for what she know how to do. Mm-hmm. So every time we had a hair show, it was like pulling teeth. Like, no girl, we already this far and you can't turn back now because you done seen somebody else post something or whatever the case may be. Like, she like one of them. So she had to get, by the third show she was confident. Like, by the third show she like, yeah, my name is da 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 da, and going into what she do. Before you had to like be like, girl, what else you do? Say what you do. Yeah. She would not do it. Like, she just like, I don't want to see. Like, she just real modest, but she had to break out of it.
And I learned color better